Hello, and welcome to episode number 25 of
Jesus.
What?
Sexual.
Was it two?
No, it's fine, carry on.
Hello, and welcome to episode number 25 of Arena FPS News. This week we're going to be talking about, in the project update section, Insight footage. So, Insight released a short 30-second clip of some gameplay, and what do you think of it, Mr. Nebel?
I actually saw this a week ago because I'm on the exclusive subscribers club that anyone can join. But I think it's pretty cool because it's a one-man team. He's doing a really good job. He's got maps going that look really nice. He's got weapons. He's got like a whole gameplay idea in his head.
And I like how everything's quite simple. Like the weapon's simplistic, but it looks stylized at the same time, so it doesn't have to have like a lot going on for it to still kind of look like a weapon.
Yeah. So the gameplay was really fast, which I'm given to believe is not how the final game will be because it's based on like sound and stuff like that. I think it's going to be quite a sneaky game until you get into combat situations and stuff. But he was just, it was just a bot that he could shoot around for a bit to show people the movement of weapons and stuff. And really fast, he was zooming around on the walls and popping them up with rockets and hitting them with rails and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, there might be a nice pacing kind of. When you're playing slow for a while, and then when combat happens, combat's really fast, and it goes back to being slow and fast. That might be pretty cool. And finally, in the project updates, we have another Diabotical show. So this week was, again, mostly focusing on art. Some more major things was there was looking at kind of changing the overall kind of theme of the game a little bit in terms of how stylized it was. So there's two screenshots of side by side, which James kind of wanted the Twitch chat to kind of vote on. And you've seen this. What do you think about them?
Yeah, I think the new one they've got is a lot more of an improvement because it's, I don't know, the original one they showed, it was nice to start seeing some Diabotical art, but it did look a bit cartoony, a bit Pixar, bit Overwatch styled. But this is a lot cleaner.
Yeah, I prefer it. It's just a bit cleaner. I think that's a good way of kind of expressing it. So that was nice. Also, the railgun weapon model was in game, which looks pretty nice.
Yeah, I really like it.
And their logo, they had a new version of the logo that they're kind of testing out, which I quite liked as well.
Yeah, on the art side of things, it was a good episode.
Yeah, apparently they've hired 2 artists full time. And they've also hired a map developer part-time. So hopefully on that side of things, it'll kind of start moving forward at a more rapid pace. And the actual blocking out engine for like the mapping looked like it had quite a lot of work done to it. So he was basically, there was a new post that he released, which we'll also send a link to. Send a link? We'll show a link to, that's a word. And the kind of the way to make maps is kind of improved in some ways. Like there's a control like Z or undo feature, which is useful. And yeah, it just looks like the game's slowly coming on, and I'm looking forward to
from the
playing
sounds
it.
of things in the last episode, he's making it sound like he's at the point where he wants people to go in and start coming up with maps and things, and for a mapping community to start forming. So maybe the mapping engine's kind of at a good place now.
Yeah. And he's saying that the old maps can be like converted into the new mapping system. So in this week's patch up, we have Reflex patch 36.4. So this is another quite small one, and it mostly is just kind of looking at fixing some problems with graphics cards, like the artifacts on AMD cards and some NVIDIA mobile cards. We're having a couple of issues as well. Nothing huge. Apparently, a few people have been having a problem with configs not being saved properly. I think Crazy Owl, one of the guys we do stuff with, was having this problem. So if you guys have been having any problems with Reflex, like configs or any kind of graphics problems, then hopefully this has fixed it for you.
He also said he's getting back to doing CTF stuff now, so
yeah,
that was probably the best part of the update for me.
And I think I either in Discord or a stream somewhere I saw that they were reckoning about a month for the next like patch, major patch. So that's one with CTF in.
That's a good pace as well because the patches are big now. Every time they do a whole new number patch, it's getting quite big.
So probably around like mid-October That'll be give or take a few weeks. So looking forward to that. And also UT4 last week had again, it's like not a major patch. The bigger patches come out next week with the new models that we talked about in the previous section. But they've added a few cool things. So it's kind of pre-match player introductions, which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, it's like, so when you load in on this Play the Game, it kind of has like all the different player models with their kind of, it's got the what do you call it, kind of cosmetic stuff. So it will show your actual individual character with your name underneath it in kind of a group.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, a short cinematic type thing. It's only like 5 seconds.
That'd be good for actual tournaments as well.
Yeah, definitely. For like introductions for players, that'd be really cool. And also they're doing that for the outro as well, for like post-match, and it shows like the stats, similar how to Quake Live does the kind of accurate, like most accurate player, most item control and that kind of stuff. There's that kind of system in now as well for the post-match thing, which is really cool. Nice. And there's absolutely tons of like small things, like fixes to things I didn't even know were problems. So if you want to see the full list, just go through again. But those are the 2 things I wanted to kind of like talk about specifically. Also player card, which is really cool. So it's kind of like your overall kind of stats for every weapon, your accuracy for every weapon, your kill death ratio, the amount of each game type you played, and all stats. So all that kind of stuff is really interesting for those of you who are statistic geeks. But that pretty much wraps it up. And like I say, just check through the actual full stats list if you care. Stats list, version note list. And also in this week's patch up, we have Unreal Tournament release notes for the 16th of September. And this has been quite a major patch. So there's been 3 new CTF levels added, which all look absolutely gorgeous. There's some footage of Titan Pass and Facing Worlds, and I'm sure all of you know about Facing Worlds. It's a classic map, and it looks divine. There's also been a Necris female character, and a Scar, and a few kind of polishments to the rocket launcher, link gun, and sniper rifle. As well as that, which is something that I want to quickly discuss with Neeple here, is the season progression system. So it looks like they're going to be doing some kind of season system, which is something that a lot of other games do, and we've not really seen it in any Arena FPS title. Do you have any thoughts, feelings?
What, so it's like seasonal rankings or tournaments or something?
At the moment, it's just, I think it's just kind of rewards for achievement type things, but I assume they'll be kind of turning this into a bigger kind of ranking, like leagues, ladders, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's exactly what the games need, isn't it? It's like everyone's been calling for ladders and Quake and stuff for ages, and this game's getting new social features on new social features all the time, so it's definitely a good thing.
And I think like the gameplay in both Quake and UT has never been an issue. It's been great gameplay, but both of the game, like Quake Live and UT3 or any of the iterations, have always missed these kind of really important social features which modern gamers kind of require. They don't require, but it's expected.
Yeah, and it helps keep people engaged for a longer time as well.
Yeah, and if you can kind of like, if you're like a noob and even you're really bad, but if you play 10 games this week, you can unlock something, you're more likely to play those 10 games, and eventually you might improve as a player and enjoy the game kind of its own right, rather than for progression. So I can see it's a bit of a like stick and carrot method of getting people to stick to games, but
yeah, but it's one of those things where the people that are already passionate about Arena FPS don't need that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like an added bonus, and then the people that are a bit hesitant, a bit new to it, then it helps them, like you said, it helps them keep engaged until they cross that little barrier where they become a good player who can take on new players.
Yeah, and also I think it takes a while to learn the skills in order to really appreciate them. Like strafe jumping, for example, I know this is UT we're talking about, but strafe jumping's like a learned skill, and once you get it, you're more likely to enjoy the gameplay. And the same with kind of like more advanced kind of dodge jumping and ward running kind of methods of getting across a map. Once you're kind of more in tune with the gameplay, you're more likely to be invested in it to play just for the sake of the gameplay. So seasons are cool. I like seasons.
Yeah, I'm definitely think it's a good idea.
Yeah. So we'll again link the patch notes, and you can check out all the millions of tiny, small tweaks to weapons and UI and everything. But those are the major things. And yeah, again, the maps look just amazing, on par with Outpost 23. So
yeah, they're scarily good. In fact, I think it's better than Outpost 23. I was blown away by the artwork for Titan Pass.
Yeah, I mean it's on a larger level, so it's less in your face beauty. Whereas Outpost 23 is kind of like gorgeous on a kind of a small level, whereas Titan Pass is kind of just grand kind of landscapes. So that pretty much wraps up the news for the UT patch. Let's move on. And finally, in the patch up, we have a toxic patch from last week as well. So there's a new mutator system, which is a legacy kind of feature from the old annual tournament days, where essentially it's kind of a tick box when you set up a server or a new game that you can have different effects happen within that game. So insta-gib is one of them. Slow mode called slug mode, which is kind of slower movement. Fast forward, which is faster movement. One gun, so it allows you to just play with one gun. Bubble head, which is, the better KD you have, the bigger your head is, which is cool when, headshots are in a game. And I won't go for all of them, but that's kind of like a small selection. So, I mean, it's good to see this game kind of being patched. They seem to be a little bit low, behind on schedule, but
at this point, they kind of need to do more, don't they, with their patches?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's about 2 months between this patch and last, and only adding a few fixes and mutators isn't the best. But I mean, the fact they're still kind of soldiering on and producing content for the people that are really into this game, because there is actually quite a small community that are really into this, because its movement is more similar to UT 2K4 than the new Unreal Tournament, which is more similar to UT 99 or UT 3. So it does have a community that's up for playing it. It's just a fact they're a little bit slow.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that wraps up the patch news for the week then. Okay, and in tournament news this week we have Quake World with a Thunderdome 1v1 Season 5. So do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, so it's a dual cup for Quake World, and it's kind of being split into 6 different skill divisions. So there's Div 0, which is the big dogs, Pro, regular, high, regular, low, advanced rookies, and rookies, which is kind of cool because you don't want the people who think, oh, I want to try out a Quake World Cup, and I've played it before, to get wrecked by Locktar or something.
It's good they've even given the newer players an opportunity to.
Yeah, but the whole Quake World community seems really keen on embracing new players and keeping it fresh. With they hand out N-Quake to everyone who'll take it, and people seem quite nice and willing to teach, so that's cool.
I think this is the biggest Quake World tournament of the year. Well,
I wouldn't even know.
Okay, it's a big Quake World tournament, so we'll leave it at that. Which is it doesn't seem to have a date available because the website's down at the moment, but the registrations are open until the 20th to the 25th of September. So tournament should be after that at some point. Now, quite big news for Reflex is Launders, which is quite a big wig in the Counter-Strike Go scene, is doing a tournament called Boxer Reflex 01, and this is a North America tournament on the 26th of September. 32 players, and the format is 8 group with 4-player round-robin groups, and then a best out of 3 or 5 finals. Map pool is THCT 2, 7, THCT DM13, and it should be really fun. There's a $500 prize pool for certain, and they're hopefully trying to raise another $500 for through donations.
It looks like they've already raised 248 in donations as well, so 748 already.
So it should be cool. I'm going to be casting it probably with Kovac, if he can make it. If not, we'll find someone else. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's kind of some guy from a completely different scene has kind of embraced Reflex and wanted to do quite a professional tournament for the Reflex scene. So I'm really excited by that, and just hopefully we'll see some more Counter-Strike Go players kind of open their eyes up to Reflex, and hopefully we'll check it out.
Yeah, because something I didn't even think about is the whole, the B-Hop, Counter-Strike B-Hop community kind of latching on to Reflex's movement because it's so similar.
Yeah.
And like, there's no doubt going to be a lot of box or Launders fans watching it from Counter-Strike, and people have donated some Reflex keys to hand out and stuff. So that's really good for the game.
Yeah, unfortunately the signups are full at the moment, but if you want to sign up anyway, then anybody, like, there's going to be a priority list of people who kind of don't make it on the day. They can be swapped in for people on this list. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. If you want more information, then you can contact at CSBoxer or at Nathan Williams. I'll put the links on this video. So next up is Tehase. Has been it was going to do an EU tournament a while ago, but it got postponed due to this Boxer tournament. But he's put it back on because obviously the Boxer one is NA and the Tehase EU one is in EU. And I can't remember what the date is for this. October 3rd, I think. I'm not sure if that's before it's been changed. Yeah. And it looks like there's been quite a few signups already, so I'm not sure if there's any left. But yeah, that again should be a really good tournament. The Tehase always puts on a good show, and it's a nice mix of maps as well. Some def maps, BDM3, and a couple of Tehase maps as well, and one which is to be announced, so that could be anything. What's up next in? Oh yes, so UT is going to be doing kind of a CTF exhibition show match. So it's not necessarily the kind of the first real tournament for UT, but it's kind of a competitive-ish focused show match based on CTF game mode. There was actually a competition for this for a couple of players to be flown out, I believe, to play in it, and that was announced in the previous video, their podcast video. So there's going to be some really good players there, and I'm looking forward to watching it and seeing how kind of just how a competitive annual tournament could be.
Yeah, I mean, this is what they need to do. It's a competitive game with big name developers and a community, like a big community, as far as I can tell. You know, they've got all the ingredients, but they're not doing any cups.
Yeah.
So we need more of this. We need to start seeing who the teams are, who the players are.
Yeah, definitely. So it should be fun. Like, even if it isn't the most ultra competitive like cup there's ever been, just kind of dip their toes in the water and see where it's going to go in the future is really important, I think. Arena FPS is putting on another King of the Hill tournament. So currently there's a straw poll where you can vote for the game that you want to be the game we're going to do the King of the Hill event for. And at the moment it's looking like Reflex is winning out with a total of 28 votes, with Quake World actually in second, so should be pretty fun. I'd quite like to see any of these games in another King of the Hill. It's kind of more of a fun tournament than a real kind of hardcore prize pool tournament. We did one of those last week, and we're going to do another King of the Hill event. So yeah, it should be good. Vote on the straw poll, and we'll have more info for you very soon on what that's going to be looking like. And just to add to that as well, we might be doing a Royal Rumble event, so it'll be like a free-for-all, and then for the first 10 minutes it's just free-for-all, and then after the 11th minute there's going to be the bottom player kicked out, and then the next player kicked out, and then it'll be left with a single player at the top. So that should be pretty interesting. I don't think that game has been tried before, and it was actually a suggestion on a Quake Live subreddit for a game mode, and we picked it up and thought it might be fun to try. For now we're just doing a new segment in the news. So the map spotlight, and this week we're having a look at VST On, which is an excellent looking map from hang on, let me just look up the name of the person while Tim talks about the map.
Yep, I've also forgotten. But basically it's the first attempt at a gothic art style for a Reflex map, which is pretty cool. It's got like stone slabs on the floor, lava. It's got loads of little hostile player models, sort of like dipped in lava or hanging from chains and stuff. So art-wise, it's really good. Gameplay-wise, I haven't played on it. I've spec'd a lot of games on it.
Yeah.
It looks... I mean, there's a lot of ways to escape on it. There's a lot of ways to hide and stuff, but it looks like kind of a horizontal map in terms of how the fights happen and where they happen. But of course, I haven't played on it, so I'd have to do that before I really comment on gameplay.
Yeah, the guy who made it was called Viscerated, by the way, and he's still kind of actively doing tweaks and a few changes to it, which is kind of improving the overall feel of it. But I really like it. I've played a few maps against Crazy Owl, and some areas are quite horizontal, but each area gives you different ways to attack from, different ways to escape from, and it's quite a dynamic map. And I quite like some maps which aren't completely open, because it gives you more ability to take fights more strategically, rather than kind of it turns into a bit of an aim fest with like rails or something. So I really like it, and a YouTube content creator called Kovac has done a kind of a analysis on it, and a couple of, actually I think just one demo analysis on it, and he has some interesting things to say about kind of the structure of the map and the different areas of the map and how to get the items. So I think we both really like it, especially from a aesthetics point of view, and looking forward to seeing more maps from Viscerated in the future. You got anything else to say on that?
No, it's just good stuff.
Cool.
It's impressive seeing what people are doing with the map editor. I'm not sure how many assets are available to people, but he really went all out on the Gothic style there.
Yep. And let us know in the comments, by the way, if you think we should continue these kind of map spotlight videos, because we quite enjoy playing maps and talking about them. Okay, that's everything for the video this week. Thanks for the support and watching the videos. We'll have some VODs coming up soon from the cups we've been running, and obviously I'll be doing some more casting for future events, so keep your eye on our Twitch channel and any of the events that we're hosting. So, bye then.
Goodbye.
Bye.